Hey, Shalom, Kol Halor, Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shai Bashim, Chachdash, the apostles of Great Millstone, and Shalom, two brothers in the highways and byways, doing the works sincerely and faithfully and continually fighting that good fight of faith. Lord willing, we have found that number to be delivered, but until then, we're going to keep prophesying till Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shai comes back to destroy this place. All right? As you see here, it says reality check ahead. And I believe a lot of you people aren't really focusing in on what's actually taking place in this world. All right, there's a lot of moving parts right now, and for the most part, the most important thing you can do is listen to the servants and prophets of the Lord, from the head apostles on down. All right, because we have been set up to watch over you people. All right, and even those who are straddling the fence, there's gonna come a point in time where you're gonna come to that crossroads. All right. Now the scripture says, "Seek ye the Lord before the evil days come." All right. So it might even at this time be too late, man. It might even be too late. Who knows? I speak as a man, only the Lord knoweth. But trust us, there's gonna be a reality check real soon, man. So from there, I'm gonna play a video. And you brothers know, you've all seen it. We've all seen it. We've all spoke about it, and it's compelling. Some of the words, some of the things that are said. It's a short video, so let me get right into it.
You got 30% of the vote. You were having an effect. You made mad as hell. They knew that you'd started the Constitution Party. They knew that you were somebody who was taking action and getting things done. You'd already made some big films, had a lot of other successes.
Right.
So they were trying to recruit you, and didn't it come down to the point of, hey, we are here to recruit you, and don't worry, your chip's going to say, don't mess with us. This guy's don't touch.
Yeah, yes, that did happen. I was definitely being recruited, but it's more subtle than that.
Well, in your words, just go through the process, and then what he said.
Well, what it is remember, we were friends, and we used to go to my house a lot. We'd have dinner, we'd talk. And he'd tell me about business investments, how you get involved in, or they would help me with this business investment or that business investment. And was I interested in joining the Council on Foreign Relations? I would have to get a letter to join them, but was I interested in that? And, just stuff, leading you on. And I used to say to him that I never really did that because that wasn't where I was coming from. As much as I like you, Nick, your ways and my ways, we're on the opposite side of the fence. I don't believe in enslaving people, and
he would come back with, oh, I do? Or...
Well, it would be more like,
It's better for them.
Well, it's more like, how do I put it? It was like, what do you care about them? What do you care about those people? What difference does it make to you? Take care of your own life. Do the best you can for you and your family. What do the rest of the people mean to you? They don't mean anything to you. They're just serfs. They're just people. It was just a lack of caring, and that's just not who I was. It was just sort of like cold, it was just like cold, and I used to say to him, what's the point of all this? You have all the money in the world you need. You have all the power you need. What's the point? What's the end goal? And he said the end goal is to get everybody chipped, to control the whole society.
All right. Again, we've seen it many times. We've heard it. Aaron Russo speaking about the conversation him and Nick Rockefeller had. Now he's being interviewed by Alex Jones at this point. All right. But the end goal was what? To get everybody chipped, to control everybody. All right. And this is the reality that's about to set in, man. You guys out there, you want to fool around and clown around. This is going to be a reality. All right. So I want to say a few things in regards to, controlling the people, controlling the masses. All right. There's two major things that these elites can do to ultimately control the masses. All right. And if you don't use these two techniques, you're going to have a lot of resistance. All right. So one of the first ones I'm going to say is this. control the money system, right? Now, one of the Rockefellers also said, roughly paraphrasing, he doesn't care who makes the money, just let him control, the people, roughly paraphrasing. And that just came to my mind about that conversation. But yeah, control the money. And this is exactly what they're going to do. They're going to shut the whole system down. All right? And when they shut that system down, that financial system, then what they're going to do? They're going to shut off the food. All right? So I got a couple articles I want to kind of read a little bit on them, right? And in no particular order, I'm going to start with this one right here. It says, bankers are ditching their branches. Maybe you should too. All right, this was buy side WSJ, and this is dated June 21st, 2024. All right, it says online banks offer most customers a better deal. So let's read a little bit. I'm not going to read too much, but I just want to read a little bit of this. And it says, if you're still relying on in-person banking service, it might be time to open up an online account. Soon, you may not even have a choice. All right? So if you think about it, right, how this all plays in to what Aaron Russo was just talking about, how does this all play and tie in together? Right? If you got to make a deposit right now, let's say you go to a job site and do some work on the side and they pay you, cash. You ain't gonna be able to go home and deposit that cash into an account. All right? So if you start to get the global picture here, they're gonna soon shut all this cash down. All right? And then you're gonna have no choice but to be an online or a digital, banker through this digital process. All right? Continuing, it says, that's because the nation's largest banks are shutting down branch locations in droves. So they're preparing. They're getting ready. All right? They're going to soon, transition into that, online digital banking system. All right? Now, again, this was dated June 21st, 2024, just the other day. All right? It says that's because the national largest banks are shutting down branch locations in droves. Last year, 2,454 bank branches closed, according to the S&P Global Market Intelligence. Okay, as of December, the number of bank branches in the U.S. had shrunk by more than 1/5 compared to 2009. Now, you'd ask yourself, why are they closing all these banks? Because ultimately, you only really go into the bank to deal with cash transactions, man. So all these banks that are shutting down are now what? Eliminating cash transactions, which is ultimately going to force you to do online banking, which is ultimately going to relate and lead to the MOTB. All right, let's read a little more. It says more have closed since then too, between Bank of America, Chase, U.S. Bank, Capital One, PNC Bank, Wells Fargo, and TD Bank. Another 400 plus have already closed in 2024. Wells Fargo leads the pack with at least 88 bank closures filing. 88 bank closure filings, according to the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency. All right? So there's no way out, man. There's no way out. You are going to have to eventually get in line and get yourself all, poked up again in order to be a part of functioning society. And this is why we of the hope for the elect trust and hope and pray Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai watches over us and have mercy on us. Because this is going to be some real crucial times that we're going to be coming into. As the sign said, all right? We're coming into those times where you're going to have to make a decision. All right, so from there, let me read another article. Like I said, I just want to touch on a few of these articles. What's this one here? right? Now I mentioned how the main way to control the people is by controlling them financially and controlling them, food wise. What was this? Controlling them food wise. Now just check this out. It says Paris Olympics 2024. Athletes raise concern about being served raw meat. Olympics struggle with food shortages. All right, now here you have the Olympics going on, and probably one of the most prestigious gaming events in all of history. And now what's happening? They're struggling trying to feed people. Think about it. How was that possible? They bring in all these people from all over the world to one location, and now they're saying that we don't have enough food to give these people. Let me read a little bit of this. It says, as the Paris Olympics progress, athletes face an unexpected hurdle. Okay? Severe food shortages and raw meat being served at the games village. Reports from French newspaper L'Equipe and the BBC highlight significant issues with food supplies, including rationings of eggs at breakfast and lack of grilled meats. All right? So again, if this is happening at the Paris Olympics, can you imagine what they're going to do when the green light is given to really start shutting shit down? I'm gonna say this: there's no way that there should be a food shortage at the Olympics. They know who's coming. They have an estimate of what they're gonna have, how many people are coming, and still they got a shortage. It's just a matter of time, man. You people don't believe that these things are gonna take place. As the sign says, it's going to be a reality check real soon. All right? Let me hit this other article real quick. This says, what's the date on this? This is July 30, 2024. This says Kamala Harris misleads on Gaza food shortage. Okay, despite what Harris deceptively implied, the truth is that Israel facilitates a surge of aid that prevented a famine. Let's read a little bit of this excerpt here. It says Kamala Harris met with Benjamin Netanyahu last Thursday, then went right out to tell journalists that Israel wasn't doing enough to prevent suffering in Gaza. Harris spoke about the shortage of food across the coastal strip, including catastrophic levels of acute food insecurity, affecting 500,000 people, roughly a quarter of Gaza's population. All right? So this food shortage is happening, man. And now here in America, we're feeling it also by the prices that have gone up. And they continually go up. All right? So with the shutting down of the financial district, okay, with the squeezing of and the rationings of the food, before you know it, they're going to have you in a position where you're going to have no choice but to accept their new way of life, man. And at the end of it, it's what? The end game is to get everybody, MOTB'd up. You see? Now let me go to a couple of scriptures. It's Habakkuk 2:5. It says, yea, also, because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man. All right? You don't think these devils have already taken into account what's going on in this very time that we're living? These things that we're speaking of have already been mapped out. They've already been in play. But now the appointed time for these devils to really start stretching their muscle, flexing their muscle, and putting it out there is upon us. All right? It says, neither keepeth at home, who enlarges his desire as hell, and his death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all peoples. All right? And what are the main ways he's going to do that? By the MOTB. That's how he's going to gather himself unto all nations and all peoples. One of the ways, I should say. All right? Because when you when you start to control, when you need to control the masses, you're going to control the amount of food. You're going to control the financial, availability. And then they're going to come out with, okay, in order for you to, get back to your normal way of life, you need to take this here device, if you will, and put it in your hand. All right. So he's going to heap to himself all people. And this is why when you go to the book of Revelation, jumping down to 15, 16. I'll just start at 16. It says, and he causeth all right, all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. All right. So when he's going to heap to himself all people and all nations, that's talking about all those who are on the planet Earth, man. Okay. 17. That no man might buy or sell, save he that have the mark. All right. So again, if you want to attribute this to sin and sleeping with white women and whatever else they like to attribute it to, you can go right ahead, man. You go right ahead. All right. But you need to ask yourself an honest and sincere question. What else is going on in the world, right, that can take the place of what this scripture is talking about? What else? There's nothing else going on in this world right now that can take the place or that can reassign what Revelation, 13, 15 on down is talking about. Okay? We've been teaching and telling you that it's the MOTB, which is in the works, which is, here, I should say. That's what it is. And all those who have been pushing everything else but what we've been telling you it is, you people are going to end up taking it because you haven't been given the proper warning about it. And since you haven't been given that proper warning, you're going to try to save your life by means of taking it and still being able to eat, still being able to buy things, still being able to just to be a functioning part of this society. Okay? So there's no excuse at this point in time. There's no excuse. Shit, you even got the devil talk. You start talking about, these average everyday, doomsday preppers. They're even talking about it. But here you are, the Lord's people, and you can't receive it. All right, let's continue on. This is Zephaniah 1:11. It says, "Howl ye inhabitants of Maktesh, for all the merchant people are cut down. All they that bear silver are cut off." All right, and I'm bringing this out because Maktesh was a modern day, trading post, if you will. The merchants would do certain business there. But the point being made, I want to make is they're all going to be cut down. All you people out there who think you got something, who think you're somebody financially, you're all going to be cut down. All right, and the playing field is going to be level. Those cats that you used to see on the street with under a blanket, just sitting there, no shoes on. The playing field is going to be level. Because your dollar is going to be deleted. And once that's done, what makes you any different from the man that was laying there on the ground with no shoes on? You're going to have one thing in common. You both are broke. All right? Now, can a man who has had all things in his life and prospered in his life, can he function once he loses those things? The majority of them aren't going to be able to function. But a man who didn't have these things and the shit implodes, it's not going to be any different for that man, because he didn't have it when it was available, and when it's now no longer available, he ain't going to have it then. So therefore, he going to be able to, maneuver properly. All right? All right, so keeping in mind, these scriptures are geared towards, the fall of the dollar, the fall of the food process. All right, and ultimately, it's going to come down to, as Nick Rockefeller said, the control of all the people. All right, 2nd Ezra 6:22, and it says, "And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, and the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty." And that's what's gonna happen. Once people start getting that, that first few weeks, and they start to realize some shit's going down. Now we don't know if Esau's gonna put another type of pandemic out there. If they cancel the elections, because I'm gonna say a little side note too. We still keep that on the table, because these presidential executive orders also have that if in the event of a national emergency or a global emergency, they can cancel the elections. All right, so we can't say that's far-fetched. You gotta still keep that on the table as well, because that's also another possibility for these devils to usher in their wickedness. But going back to the storehouses being empty, people are going to start getting wind of it, and they're going to start going to these stores and hustling and buying, to the point where these places are going to be empty, man. They are literally going to be empty. So again, the reality check is about to really set in, man. How much more can a loaf of bread cost? How much more can some water cost? I mean, you go to a movie these days, you spending about $20, $25 on one goddamn movie ticket. So we're letting you know. Don't think this is just gonna be a walk in the park. Well, yeah, it'll happen, but it'll all settle down and come back to normal. Ain't no coming back to normal. Once this thing starts going, it's not gonna stop. Now, this is one of my favorite scriptures, 2 Kings, chapter 6. Now, this is the time of the Sumerian famine. I believe King Ben-Hadad was king at the time. Let me open it up a little bit. I just want to get right down to the points here. I'm going to jump right to 25. Right to 25. Like I said, just getting right to the points. Samaria. All right. It says, and there was a great famine in Samaria, and behold, they besieged it until an ass's head was sold for 80 pieces of silver, and the fourth part of a cab's dung, dove's dung, of cabs of dove's dung was sold for 5 pieces of silver. All right, now think about it. These are measures that are going to be, taken up when there's no food. Roadkill is going to primarily be somebody's delicacy. That's if the animals haven't gotten to it first. There's not going to be any work out here. These things, I don't know in which order these things are going to happen, but to some degree, they're going to take place, man. This famine is going to happen. You ain't going to be able to escape it either. Now, let me read a little bit more. It says, verse 26. It says, and as the king of Israel was passing by upon the wall, there cried a woman unto him, saying, help, my lord, O king. And he said, if the Lord do not help thee, when shall I help thee? out of the barn floor or out of the wine press? Now he's being sarcastic. Listen, how can I help you? The Lord ain't help you out. How am I going to help you? You know? And this is what ultimately what's going to be happening out here. A lot of you people are going to be crying for help. And in the midst of you crying for help, there's going to be one solution for you. Go and take that little device right there, and you're going to be back to normal. And I say this, and again, if the shoe fits, you wear it. But a lot of you women out there, you're really going to have some real bad times ahead of you, man. There's going to be some real rough times because, again, there's not going to be any law and order. There's going to be people out there looking to get you. Looking for help, and there's going to be nobody to help you. So, again, keep these things to heart. Think about them. You want to be with men and deal with men who are all about, trying to cash in and get money? Or do you want to be around men who are going to try to, who are trying to give you or teach you or bring you to the realization that the only way you're going to get out of this thing is through the spirit and power of Yahweh. A lot of you cats are on cruise control. And you ain't speaking or prophesying about the pertinent things that need to be prophesied about. Verse 27, and he said, if the Lord do not help thee, when shall I help thee? Out of the barn floor or out of the winepress? And the king said unto her, what aileth thee? And she answered, this woman said unto me, give thy son, that we may eat him today, and we will eat my son tomorrow. So we boiled my son and did eat him. And I said unto her on the next day, give thy son that we may eat him. And she have hid her son. Okay. Now this is real deal, man. And these are some of the things that take place when such a famine is upon the land. Resorting to cannibalism. Resort to eating dead carcasses. All right? And all this is showing you that there's going to be bad times. When you read the book of Matthew, the 24th chapter, it tells you about the pestilence and the famines that are going to be upon the land. Verse 30. And it came to pass, when the king heard the words of the woman, that he rent his clothes, and he passed upon the wall, and the people looked, and behold, he had sackcloth within upon his flesh. All right. So again, I bring these out because these elites and whoever they may be, they're going to put into play, famines, bankruptcies, if you will, the depleting of the dollar, which is imminent, I believe. It's imminent. The dollar is pretty much useless, man. We've all become so used to just relying on the dollar that we don't think that it'll ever disappear. Well, it's going to. And these devils have been telling you with their G Summit 20s and their, all their little meetings, their national governments meetings. They're telling you what they're doing. It's not a secret. So you've been warned. You've been warned by the prophets of the Lord. You've been warned by the devil himself. All right. And again, if these so-called prophets are out there on cruise control and they're not speaking about these things, then your blood is going to be on their hands. That's the bottom line, man. All right. That's the bottom line to that. But rest assured, a reality check is coming, whether you believe it or not. And at the end of the day, we don't believe it. Look at that reality check now. The sign, it looks to appear to be, somewhat of maybe bullet holes. we coming down that road, man. And Lord willing, to the hopeful elect, that the Lord watch over us and cover us. All right? And let me just play this one more time.
You got 30% of the vote. You were having an effect. You made mad as hell. They knew that you'd started the Constitution Party.
Yeah.
They knew that you were somebody who was taking action and getting things done. You'd already made some big films, had a lot of other successes.
Right.
So they were trying to recruit you. And didn't it come down to the point of, hey, we are here to recruit you, and don't worry, your chip's going to say, don't mess with us. This guy's don't touch.
Yeah, yes, that did happen. Now, I was definitely being recruited, but it's more subtle than that.
Well, in your words, just go through the process, and then what he said.
Well, what it is we remember we were friends, and we used to go to my house a lot. We'd have dinner, we'd talk, and he'd tell me about business investments, how you get involved in, or they would help me with this business investment or that business investment. And was I interested in joining the Council on Foreign Relations? I would have to get a letter to join them, but was I interested in that? And just stuff, leading you on. And I used to say to him that I never really did that because that wasn't where I was coming from. As much as I like you, Nick, your ways and my ways we're on the opposite side of the fence.
And I'm gonna say this, and this is probably what ultimately got him unalive, man. Telling them secrets, and Nick Rockefeller, he's an insider. So for this to get out and for him to pretty much, tell the story verbatim what Nick Rockefeller told him, I'm sure he came down on Nick's head, because these type of things weren't being really noised abroad, especially about when it speaks about, chipping up the people.
No, I don't believe in enslaving people, and
And he would come back with, oh, I do? Or,
well, it would be more like,
it's better for them.
it's more like, how do I put it? It was like, what do you care about them? What do you care about those people? What difference does it make to you? Take care of your own life. Do the best you can for you and your family. What do the rest of the people mean to you? They don't mean anything to you. They're just serfs. They're just people. It was just a lack of caring, and that's just not who I was. It was just sort of like cold, it was just like cold, and I used to say to him, what's the point of all this? You have all the money in the world you need. You have all the power you need. What's the point? What's the end goal? And he said the end goal is to get everybody chipped, to control the whole society.
You see? The end goal is to get everybody chipped. And that's the bottom line, man. We've been telling you, we're warning you and letting you know that if anybody's telling you anything other than what we're telling you from the head apostles on down through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemi Shai, you better get away from them. All right? Because this is going to be literally a matter of life and death, man. All right? So that's the end goal. All right, so Lord willing, I'm going to see y'all brothers in another one. I say shalom.